Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending on where you are, and welcome to this surprise ambush stream on a Saturday. Thought I'd do something a little different today because a subject came across my threshold, and I thought to myself, that's interesting. Let's take a look at that. But before I get into that, who's joining me on this surprise ambush stream? Let's see. Noah Sencio, good morning. Simon Willikins, good morning. Mike Savage, Blarg, Old Guy Gamer, good morning. Sabian 187, good morning. TC, good morning to you. Who else is here? Let's see. Did I say Mike R? I might have said Mike R. Mike R? Mike R. Miker. Tony Giff, good morning to you. Keever Dam, thank you so much for providing the GoFundMes for our friends Moonshock, Angela Ariaga, pardon me, Rhonda, James Colley, and Grisella. If you guys can take the opportunity to take a look at those, and if you can donate to help them out, it'd be appreciated. If you can't, please think about sending those out on social media to share them around. Your support is very much appreciated, and thank you, Keever Dam, as always, for providing the links to those GoFundMes. Brittany Holland, good morning. Fostonia, good morning. Urkele Di Stefano, good morning. C. Thomas, good morning. Ostsan, good morning to you. And I think that's everybody. Oh, Resolute Germ, good morning to you. And Advocatus Diaboli, good morning to you. Yeah, so if you had not noticed, and I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't, but if you happen to be on Twitter, and in particular circles of Twitter over the last several weeks, there's been more than a little bit drama related to Mark Cuban, owner of the basketball team, the Mavericks, and his making statements in support of diversity, equity, and inclusion, particularly in the NBA. So much so that he garnered the attention of Elon Musk. And Elon Musk said discrimination on the basis of race, which DEI does, is literally the definition of racism. And Mark Cuban decided to, educate some people. He says, let me help you out and give you my thoughts on DEI. 1, diversity. Good businesses look where others don't to find the employees that will put your business in the best possible position to succeed. You may not agree, but I take it as a given that there are people of various races, ethnicities, orientation, etc., that are regularly excluded from hiring consideration. By extending hiring search to include them, we can find people that are more qualified. The loss of DEI-phobic companies is my gain. 1A, we live in a country with very diverse demographics. In this era where trusted businesses can be hard to come by, people tend to connect more easily to people who are like them. Having a workforce that is diverse and representative, as my phone goes off, pardon me, that's going to go off again in a moment, so pardon me just for a moment. As I throw my phone out of the room to make sure it doesn't interrupt me again. People who are like them, having a workforce that is diverse and representative of your stakeholders is good for business. And Elon Musk followed up with, cool. So when should we expect to see short white/Asian women on the Mavs? Wasn't that fun? There were additional tweets from Mark Cuban on this subject. Where he said, I've never hired anyone based exclusively on race, gender, religion. I only ever hire the person that will put my business in the best position to succeed. And yes, race and gender can be part of the equation. I view diversity as a competitive advantage. And in reply to that, Andrea R. Lucas, an EEOC commissioner, as in the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, said, unfortunately, you're dead wrong on black letter Title VII law. As a general rule, race/sex can't even be a motivating factor, nor a plus factor, tiebreaker, or tipping point. It's important employers understand the ground rules here. So, in that vein of Mark Cuban, an owner of an NBA team, talking about DEI, to my surprise and morbid delight, I suppose, I found out that Forbes magazine did an interview with the chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer of the NBA within the last week. And so I thought we'd take a look at that together and find out from the chief DEI officer of the NBA what good DEI policy looks like. So join me now as I journey through something I have no idea what they're going to say. Is this going to be a full-on doubling down of DEI philosophy? Will this be some kind of softening of the language in light of certain legal complications that have come up over the last year or so? Or will it be an outright denial of DEI and something else put in its place? I guess we'll find out. So let's go on together. Start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You let me know if you can hear it. I did boost the audio slightly. I don't know if I did it too much. You let me know if it's too loud, and I will moderate.
Here in Indianapolis at the 2024 NBA All-Star Game and at the 24th Annual Tech Summit, joined by Leslie Slayton Brown, Chief DE Officer of the NBA. Thank you so much for joining me.
DEI, not DE. DEI. If you don't, you can't have diversity, equity without inclusion. You have to keep the I in there because it's all about I, and there is no I in team, but there is an I in DEI. Anyway, you guys hear that all right? Sounds good, says Mike R. Let's see. 5x5 says Kiro Soldier. I hear it in both ears. How inclusive. Well, I try to bring balance and parity to the entertainment I provide. Parity. Do you like parity? It's a great word. Which one am I saying when I say it?
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. So when you come to Tech Summit, like, is there something that you are looking for, and is something that you're looking to learn when you leave this building?
Is there something she's looking to learn when she leaves this building? Tech Summit. Yeah, what is a DEI officer doing at a Tech Summit?
Wow. You know what? So I have to say, first of all, Tech Summit is my favorite part of All Star.
Right. Mine's too.
Wait. Okay, so as a preamble, full disclosure, I am, at least from several years ago, an English major, and prior to that, I was a weenie nerd. I am about as athletic as this Kleenex over here on my desk. So I know next to nothing about basketball, save for the most cursory information and so on. But I have a feeling that when the All-Star Game visits your town, the best part of that, if you're a basketball fan, it's probably not Tech Summit. I'm just guessing, but okay, Tech Summit, best part of All-Star.
And
I usually try to get out afterwards.
Yeah, it is. And having come out of the tech industry, so for me, it is looking at what's our latest and greatest innovation.
Yeah.
And so Adam Silver just talked about the NBAIA.
NBAIA, the National Basketball Association. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know. Also, good mornings or afternoon, as it were, to Shady Grin and Miranda Stone. Good afternoon. Matthew James, good morning or afternoon to you too. Random American, hello.
NBIA. And
what is it?
So when I look at that, I look at the technology that we're bringing in and making sure that we're looking at it from a lens in which, when you think about representation, when you think about business impact, I like to look at it from that lens and bring in
Google Gemini, because when you think of like technological innovation that represents people, you think of Google Gemini. I've been having some fun with Google Gemini the last couple of days, asking it some very pointed questions. It's been entertaining. I might do a stream just on that in the near future, but we'll see.
Our view of the work that I do in the tech part of what we're doing, and making sure that we're going to stay on course with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
specificity would be appreciated.
Here we are in February, right? This is Black History Month, and I want to also add that into this. When you think of Black History Month, and not the notable names, but is anyone that stands out that maybe people don't think of enough that has inspired you to this?
Lyndon Johnson. I don't know.
Ooh.
Are we going to get to, like, at some point, according to the title of this, we're at some point going to hear about DEI policy in the NBA. I realize they have to do this sort of like human interest / interview stuff at the beginning, but somewhere in this nearly 20-minute talk, hopefully we'll get to something substantive. Irate Bear.
You know what? I have to tell you, my inspiration really comes from my family.
Yeah.
It comes from my ancestors. It comes from my grandmother and her wisdom, Joyce Slayton, Joyce Bass Slayton. And so I bring that with me. I was speaking with somebody yesterday and they said, DEI, it's a heavy load right now.
Wait a second. And this is happening in real time. I didn't think about this before. What? I feel like I recognize this lady from somewhere else. I really do. Hold on a second. I apologize. This is just coming to me now. Her intonation, the way she speaks, it sounds very, very familiar to me. She's not. I did a video years and years ago. Oh my gosh. It's not. It can't be. Okay, there's a video on my channel called Gleefully Cheering Discrimination, and it's about HP. And HP at the time had their DEI official come out. Was it this lady? It is! Oh my gosh! Okay, guys, no, I'm being absolutely sincere right now. I did not know this ahead of time. Our speaker is previously one of the chief DEI officers for HP Incorporated, I think, or at least HP split up into two different entities at one point, and she took over one. I've already done a video featuring this speaker. I didn't even realize that. Oh my gosh, this is so weird. What a small world. And now she's the chief DEI officer of the NBA. Good golly, Miss Molly. All right. It is so odd that sometimes, like, the way someone speaks more than their face or anything else, it clicks something in my memory. Wow. Okay. Well, then this is the second time, unplanned, second time around that I've listened to our speaker. Boy, howdy. I wonder if she's changed much in her perspectives from the first video I did, because she was really, really excited about hiring Latino people. I mean, really excited. It didn't really matter, I guess, who they were, just as long as they were a Latino or a Latina. She was really excited about that. Okay. If somebody can, Keeverdam, thank you so much. I just looked over to the chat thinking, I hope somebody can find a link to that video. There it is. All right. Anyway, apologies for the interruption. That was just happened live. I know this lady's voice.
And it is. And I said, but I stand on the shoulders of folks that have built this space for me to thrive in. And so I got to keep going. I got to keep building for others. Yeah.
Well, listen, you kind of hit it, right? And as we sit here and talk at the Tech Summit, DEI is definitely an important topic as we are in an election year in 2024.
Oh, is that why it's an important topic? It's not because it's inherently discriminatory and only now coming under scrutiny after the affirmative action decision last year. Okay, sure, I suppose.
You have people saying we're in this phase of maybe a war on DEI.
You mean a long delayed legal challenge to DEI? Because DEI was always running counter to, at minimum, Title VII, or depending on a company situation, Title VI as well.
What do you see?
I see a lot of turbulence. I see a lot of, I say, uncertainty.
There's no uncertainty, except in the companies that have been doing this for years, thinking they could get away with it, or not thinking about ultimately the consequences of their decisions.
I see fear. I'm optimistic, though.
Why?
Because the mission of the NBA is about how we inspire and connect people everywhere.
That's got nothing to do with DEI. The actual mechanisms of DEI, are we going to get to those?
Around the game of basketball, and we are staying the course.
Tell us about diversity in the NBA when it comes to the attributes that DEI values the most. Tell us about that.
We're staying true to our mission. We're staying true to our values.
How?
And so, although all of that noise is happening, we're staying focused on what we're doing, and that is about impacting the communities that we reach.
Okay, so at least peripherally here, what she's saying is that they're doubling down on DEI, regardless of the legal challenges that have been inspired or bolstered by the affirmative action decision last June by the Supreme Court. And despite the negative backlash that is only now, thankfully, but much delayed, starting to come out against DEI initiatives and everything, the NBA is staying the course. All right.
That is about making sure that we have great representation, which we do.
Oh, do you? How do you define representation?
Within the league office.
Oh, the league office. Okay, the back office. Well, tell me about the population demographics of the back office.
And on the court and coaching.
On the court in coaching. Okay, so we got back office and we have coaching. How do you measure excellent representation?
And so when we think about this attack that is happening, we're we're armored and we're ready to go.
Yeah. You're armored? So you have a legal or at least rhetorical defense against criticisms that you're making hiring and promotion decisions based on elements that are, let's say, legally questionable under Title VII, as Mark Cuban has specified in his tweets recently. Okay, what is your armor? What is your defense?
Because we are a purpose-driven brand that's focused on the mission in these communities. And so diverse, underrepresented communities.
Buzzword, buzz phrase.
And so we're ready.
Yeah. Are you? Is the league and as Adam, specifically, are they telling you to push forward because some corporations are starting to pull back because they're afraid of the political atmosphere?
How about the legal consequences? I wonder if at any point anyone's going to bring up the demonstrable legal pitfalls that DEI has always possessed.
What could be in 2025 and all of that. And so you see people starting to push back. You see some leagues starting to push back. You see companies.
Wait. Hold on. What political 2025? Hold on. What do you say? Sorry, I cut him off. I didn't mean to do that. Go on.
Of the political atmosphere, what could be in 2025.
So you think if Trump wins, things are going to get worse for DEI? Well, you're probably right. I mean, you're probably right. I don't know if it get much worse than it already is technically with the lawsuits that are coming after certain institutions and such, but it's possible, sure.
And all of that. And so you see people starting to push back. You see some leagues starting to push back. You see companies even starting to push back. They're not
starting to pull back. I don't know if they're pushing back, but I guess the NBA is pushing back. But here's the thing. Regardless of who's in the White House in 2025, DEI is still, and I'll be diplomatic here because each company, their rhetoric and their actions can vary. DEI as a general idea runs counter to established civil rights law. Okay? It always has. Doesn't matter who's in the White House. Civil Rights Act of 1964 has been there quite a while. So, okay, but yes, a lot of companies are only now having to take a second look at their DEI processes and initiatives because of what the Supreme Court has said about the argument for diversity when justifying discrimination based specifically on race in colleges. But here's the thing, race sits on the exact same footing as gender, as orientation, as religion, as ethnicity, and so on under law. So if you can't defend discriminating on the basis of race in colleges on the basis of diversity, you can't discriminate against anything else on the basis of diversity, especially in the private sector. But I digress, sort of.
Not hiring people. They're laying off DEI officers.
Yeah.
What is the NBA doing to push this forward?
The NBA is...
Okay. Sorry to cut off. A, I have to pause for the sake of YouTube. B, for dramatic purposes. Let's get ready. Okay, are we going to hear specific steps or initiatives that the NBA is taking to bolster their DEI program, or are we going to get just another litany of buzzwords and buzz phrases and abstracts without telling us what they're exactly doing?
The NBA is prioritizing the work that we do to focus on the underrepresented communities.
Yeah.
How?
We are, and you see this with, with our tech summit, with our supplier diversity event we had yesterday.
Ooh, supplier diversity event. Oh, is that when you select what companies or vendors you'll work with based on the race and or makeup of the owners and not necessarily the merits of the business itself? I'm just guessing.
We had over almost 200 people show up, Beautiful. Minority suppliers.
Oh, minority supply. Okay, why is that important to you? I know why it's important to you. Is that fair?
You see this in the work that we've been encouraged to continue with our HBCU program, our historically Black colleges and universities.
Oh, okay. So centering around a particular race. Uh-huh.
We have 11 event interns here that have been tagged by different organizations to come in and bring their thoughts, their perspective.
Why? What is it about those did you say interns? Okay, what about those interns makes them so vital to this conversation? Is there anything, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing about them?
Their lens on the work that's happening from an event standpoint.
Tell me you got ERGs. Does the NBA have ERGs? I love 3-letter acronyms. Do you have any ERGs in the NBA for your DEI?
We see our HBCU Fellows program continuing on in the
okay, so HBCUs.
Investment that we're making in students. And so I say that to say that we're a leader in this space. We're setting the standard, and we're going to continue to make that standard rise.
Yeah.
What standard? What are you talking about? Okay, so far talking about your supplier diversity program, which basically means, and I might be going out on a limb here, but I don't think I'm going that far. You're going to discriminate on which suppliers you do business with on the basis of the physical aesthetic makeup of the owners, first and foremost. Or that's the big thing. You're investing in colleges that are centered around a particular race, and you have some kind of internship program where individuals have been tagged for their unique perspectives. I can only guess what qualified them for those roles. Okay. Now, there's still 13 minutes left in this thing. What are we going to get next?
And so that's the focus that we have.
Yeah. What's the day in the life of a chief DEI?
Oh, good question. Good question. What does our speaker actually do?
Sir, for a brand as big as the NBA Entertainment.
There's no 2 days that are alike.
Yeah. Which means I can say anything I want and it all applies. Yeah.
And I love that.
So what do you do?
I love that. We have days in which we flourish, and we have days in which you're just pulling your hair out.
Doing what?
And at the end of the day, it is, as I said before, it is about where our values are.
You don't do you don't do anything, do you? Come on. There's got to be a regular routine set of meetings, something you're overseeing. Come on. Don't indicate that you do nothing and just pull a paycheck.
And so, and continuing to push through on those, and right. So some days it is about what do we need to do in order to continue to diversify our coaching.
I don't know. Okay, all right. I'll take that on. What do you do to see to the diversification of your coaching? What initiatives have you started? What do you oversee? How do you ensure the diversification of your coaching? Details?
Pipeline. And we've got a coaches initiative that we are working with on that.
Mm-hmm.
A coaches initiative. Okay. Do I have to look this up offline or something? Are you going to tell us about the coaches initiative? How does it work? How does it help to result in diversification of coaching staff?
And we are, another day, it might be, what do we need to do to continue to grow sustainable impact with economies?
Man, I tell you what, I've said this for years. If I had No particular scruples. Given as much information as I've absorbed in the last 7 years about DEI initiatives, it would have been better about 3 years ago. That probably would have been the best time to do it. About 3 years ago, I could have hung out a shingle as a DEI consultant and could have made bank. Because what do you have to do? Nothing. You just have to point out demographic discrepancies in a workforce and then say a bunch of buzzwords and then give a couple of workshops on nothing, and you get a paycheck. Oh man, nice work if you can get it.
And our supplier diversity program is, attribute, from that standpoint.
Okay, so we have coaches initiative and supplier diversity initiative. Those are two things so far, named things that she oversees. I guess I'll have to do a follow-up where I look up exactly what goes into the NBA coaches initiative and supplier initiative.
Another day, it's something else,
Oh my gosh, come on. I have regular duties in my job. They may not be flashy, but they might not have cool code names or anything, but they're regular duties that I have in my job every day that I have to do. I get up and I check this and I check this and I check this. And there might be some peripheral stuff, but I have a usual set of duties that go along with the job description. You can't even give us that. Just give us something mundane that you do. Do you make a regular set of phone calls to individual teams or something? Do you have some subordinates in different teams that you check in with, or a weekly check-in meeting or something?
It is, what do we need to do for our interns and
your interns?
And so all of these things give us, I think, hold us and ground us in what that mission is.
No. What do you do on an average day? That was the question.
And where our values are anchored to.
What?
And so whatever it is on that particular day, and as I said, it's no 2 days are the same.
There has to be a common through line. I mean, there just has to be. Give us your job description. You could just read to us the job description. That'd be better than whatever the heck you're telling us now, because it's nothing.
We're at the end of the day, that's where we're grounded. That's where our foundation lies.
Absolutely. Here again at the 2024 24th Annual Tech Summit, NBA Tech Summit. So take me back, right? You grew up in Merced, California.
Merced.
Oh, do I want to go through biographical information on our speaker? Not really. But I'll leave it to chat. Should we continue? I might skip over this part if I can find a good stopping point of whatever, because no offense to our speaker, her personal biography doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot to me. I wanted to hear about DEI policy in the NBA. I fear we might have already heard it, but I don't know what other questions our interviewer is going to ask. Should I skip over her life story? I think I'm going to. All right, so we'll give it. Let's give it a second here until we get back to our interviewer. When I see our interviewer again, I'll assume that he's asking his next question. All right, hold on. All right.
Visit there one day, especially with avocados. I love avocados.
If you ever go to Yosemite National Park,
yeah,
Merced is the gateway to Yosemite.
Yeah, and now I definitely want to go, because I definitely want to go see some. And if
okay, well, there's your tourism moment. There, Merced is the gateway to Yosemite.
From there, you go to Boise State University.
Okay, we're still on that. He's going to talk about HP. I wonder if he's going to bring up HP. It would be funny, but I suppose not all that surprising if what we've heard so far amounts to the extent of what they're going to say about NBA DEI policy, but you never know.
In a way.
Yeah. Well, take me back to that little girl who was playing basketball with her brothers.
Oh, okay. No. The title has been deceptive. The title said something about policy in the NBA. Did we just get it all? This might be a short stream, unfortunately. We'll see.
If it's, alley-oop, it's whatever.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Listen, going into the bigger business, because you're in a C-suite, you got to get out of here. The tech summit's going on, and I don't want you to miss any key gems. But looking at the bigger macro issue, if you are if there's a Black company, a Black entrepreneur that wants to do business with the NBA, we're talking about the supply chains, it's the diversity supplier program that the NBA offers. How do they do that? How do they do that? If you're a supplier of a particular race, how do you get in touch with the NBA? Tell us the procedure. That might be interesting. Holy cats, look who it is. It's in human form.
in human form. Thank you so much. Scribe and Charles Barkley for president 2024. Light Barkley. The Light Barkley ticket. I can see it now. Charles Barkley. Man, when was the last time I even... Did his show on CNN already get canceled? What was it, like King Charles or whatever? Did that already get canceled? I can't remember. Thank you, Inhuman Form. If you guys do not know about Inhuman Form, Formy, as I've monikered him, has a YouTube channel where he covers various things from true crime to psychology to society to different trends in politics and theories and things. So if you want some eclectic intellectual video essays and documentaries, take a look at Inhuman Form here on YouTube. I've had him on a few times for interviews on true crime and so on, and other things. So nice to see you, Formy. Hope you're going well. That's what I meant. I meant to say, I hope your studies are going well. That's where my brain was going. Stumble over my own tongue. Anyway, thank you, Formy. All right. So, yes, what were we talking? Oh, yes. If you are a black supplier, how do you get in touch with the NBA to start doing business? Walk us through procedure.
Where they go about being in business with the NBA, especially if you're a young company just looking for a chance.
Yeah. So we did host our annual supplier diversity event yesterday.
Right. You've talked about this before. Tell us more about the supplier diversity event.
It was wildly successful.
Yeah. How do you measure success?
We had the opportunity to, and we do this in every community that we go into.
Every community you go into, you mean like neighborhoods, or are you talking abstract demographics?
It is partner first with the local supplier diversity team. And in this case, we partner with the Pacers. And so we bring what we want to do and what we know to do as far as this, for us, Commissioner Adam Silver communicated a $230 million impact that we wanted to make on the economy here.
Okay, so you've got a $230 million budget to spend in that particular location. And where's that money going, and to whom and why?
The goal that we have is to not just come and then leave.
Yeah, hit it and quit it.
The economy here. The goal that we have is to not just come and then leave. It's come and leave an imprint.
I know. I'm a third grader. Sorry, can't help it. That's just funny. And by what method and in what way do you hope to leave an imprint? Do you have any percentages you'd like to give us by any chance?
And leave a legacy. And so that's why it's important to partner with the teams and
partner with. You represent the NBA. Your only outlets are the teams. Why wouldn't you partner with the teams? They are your location franchise outlets for what you want to do. Of course you're partnering with the teams. What are you doing? How is this $230 million being spent? And how do you decide who to give the money to?
And so you can come in to our system, apply, make sure that you're certified.
Okay, now we're talking about the businesses again. So a up-and-coming business whose owners just happen to be of a particular race, they have to be a certified company. I don't know certification of what. I'm not a business major. I was an English major. But okay, certified company, come into your system. What system is that? Is there a name of this system? Is there someplace they apply online?
The Pacers, in the case of this event we had,
yeah,
they actually did certification leading up to. And so there were, 7 to 9 engagements that they had. How do we teach you about, your elevator pitch and your qualifications and your certifications?
Whoa. Okay, I'm confused. The Pacers spent time and money training small businesses on how to certify themselves as businesses for the Pacers in making Am I missing something here? The Pacers were giving business classes or business advice classes? What?
And so they came ready for this event.
Yeah.
We had matchmaking that occurred. We took local corporations from around, and we set them at tables, and they did rotations, and they had an opportunity to do their pitch and learn what's needed for that particular organization.
I'm decidedly confused. I obviously there must be some method to this madness. I just don't quite understand. The Pacers prepared the businesses for the tech event. Is that what I'm to understand? Or for the supplier diversity event? Like they have standardized times for sales pitches or elevator pitches, and they're just trying to get them in line. So an interested business approaches the team preps them for the NBA diversity supplier event, and then they go and they get certified before going to the event. Okay.
To get qualified and to be selected as a vendor.
Yeah.
And so it's not a single thing that you do. There are multiple steps that you need to take.
Right.
Well, yeah, but there is a single thing that qualifies somebody to even apply in the first place, right? I mean, it's a supplier diversity program. So there's at least one major filter at the front end before anything can happen. Or am I misunderstanding?
Right. Is there a secret to working with the league that you can offer? I know it hasn't even been a year yet that you've been in this position, but
did she only just leave HP for this job?
But is there a secret that you can offer that you've learned so far?
You know, Jabari, I think what's interesting is I don't know that there's a secret.
I think there's a very well-known secret. I'm just guessing that there's a well-known secret as to what qualifies a supplier to work with the NBA, given what we've heard, but we'll see if our speaker says anything to that.
This year we did something new and different.
Oh.
And that is
you did away with racial considerations in who you do business with? I mean, that would be different from what I'm hearing.
We created a training that was around cultural competency.
Oh, cultural competency. I love cultural competency. You know what cultural competency is? It's putting ethnically specific foods into math problems. I'm not kidding you. I've talked about this before. I watched an entire PBS segment talking about cultural competency in schools. And throughout the entire thing, I kept waiting. What is it? What do you do with it? How does it work? And the only example they ever gave was a teacher in a classroom used ethnic foods in a math story problem to connect with the students who, not all of them, but some of them fell within that demographic. So he assumed that they would relate to these food items. Boy, oh boy. Okay, tell us about, are you going to give us any details on what cultural competency means in the NBA?
And then values. And
value. Of course not. You're not going to explain yourself. You're not going to give me specifics at all. Of course not. Okay.
So I think that it's important for any company when you're thinking about who you want to do services with to align to those values.
What values? What are you talking about? So far, you're valuing skin color. That's all I've heard so far. You are valuing skin color. HBCUs, black vendors or owners of companies, interns being selected, at least presumably on the basis of their race and or gender or something. What are your values? What are these values that have to align?
And so I would say that if you know the values that we exhibit and you are an organization.
What are the values you exhibit?
So I don't know that if that's a secret, but I think that it's a good way, a good entree into a partnership.
That doesn't make any sense. Unless you're just, being coy for the sake of not giving anybody an advantage unfairly or something, unfair advantage. That's nothing. That's just fluff.
And so I would say, like, look at what services you have.
Okay, I don't know what happens at a basketball game. I'm a silk screener and I make T-shirts. Okay, I've got a silk screening T-shirt making company. Okay, just hypothetically.
What values you have?
I want to make a quality product that my customers appreciate and make a profit. What more does the NBA need from me?
That align to the NBA or to a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
And then go sell that.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And then also the bigger picture as far as diversity, right?
Yes. Tell us about the bigger picture as far as diversity. Because, I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what I've been waiting for the entire time.
When I think of the great job the league has done with players and as well as coaches, but I go to the front office and I.
What's wrong with the front? Okay, so the players and coaches look the part. What's wrong with the front office?
Go beyond the general manager and I go beyond the president of basketball operations.
Yeah.
There's this F that the league always gets when it comes down to CEOs and presidents and team business operations.
An F. What qualifies as an F? What's a failure in diversity when it comes to front office?
How can we change that?
What are you talking about? What could you possibly be referring to? But okay, I'll just speculate here. For legal reasons, I'm just going to speculate. So I'm speculating that our interviewer is saying that the wrong colored people are in places of management, that there's too many of the wrong colored people in management positions. And he's asking the chief DEI officer of the NBA, how do we change that? All right, so tell me true, by what method would you suggest we fix this problem?
Well, so first of all, we are right now, we have an initiative that we do in partnership, what we call Team HR.
Team HR. Okay, so far we got the coaches initiative, we have the supplier diversity initiative, and now we have Team HR. Okay, and how does Team HR make sure that the front office is going to more aesthetically please our interviewer?
Fabulous organization.
Fabulous.
They focus on executive placement.
Executive placement. Uh-huh.
And they do consulting for not only the league office, but for the teams as well. And so the opportunity that we have when we look at and being able to have a portfolio of talent.
A portfolio of talent. And what is the first consideration for this portfolio of talent that addresses our interviewer's concern?
To reach out to and to consult and give opportunity for our teams and bring in within the league.
So you just have notebooks full of potential executives to solve this problem? Okay.
We have seen an increase in our diversity at the C-suite level as well.
You want to give us some numbers? Oh, please give us a percentage.
And so, we're 62% women and people of color within the league office.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy. Oh, thank goodness. All right. 60% women and people of color. All right. I appreciate you being explicit in what you value in assessing diversity in the NBA. Tell us more.
And we're going to continue to grow that.
Okay. So you have an intent to increase the percentile of your workforce, firstly on the basis of race and gender. Got it.
Because it's, as I said before, it's the standard that we uphold.
Do the teams listen to you? I mean, each team is like small businesses within themselves, right? None of they control their own jurisdictions and all that, but do they listen to the league's direction when we're telling or when they're explaining how important to have more diversity in business front office positions?
Yeah.
Are the teams accepting and internalizing the level of racial and gender discrimination that the NBA is promoting? Oh, sorry, I just rephrased what he said into actual reality. But yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, do the teams listen?
I think we have a really good. We've established a really great relationship, and so over the last couple of years, we've built out a DEI alliance, a diversity, equity, and inclusion alliance, and that's in partnership with the teams. We do a composition report that we share with the governors of the teams as
a composition report. Oh, as in like workforce composition? I'd love to see that.
Well as the president's head of HR and head of DEI.
Yeah.
And so that partnership, what I've seen in my year here has helped elevate visibility, opportunity, and relationship to take advice and consultation.
All of this is just babbled corporate speak, but okay.
On opportunities or talent that has come through. And so I love what I see.
I'm sure you love what you see, because it really is all about the aesthetic, isn't it?
Very optimistic about the direction that we're going.
Okay.
As I said before, we're going to continue even with the headwinds that we're facing within DEI.
Oh, you mean like the inherent legal questions of the entire endeavor? Yeah, okay.
We're going to continue to strive to be the standard and push forward that aligns to our mission. And
like increasing the 60 percentile of particular race and particular gender in the office higher. Okay.
Drive that mission forward.
Yeah.
Mission
Last
forward.
thing for me, Jim Collins wrote a great book, Good to Great, one of my favorite business books.
That book.
It's a phenomenal business book, right? A lot of gems in that book, a lot of we, not I's. I love that book.
Okay.
I know the Cavs are a team that really stands out what they're doing with their DEI policy because they attach salary compensation to it.
Oh, the Cavaliers have attached salary compensation, to their DEI work. Oh, so there's a profit motive to what? Hire people on the basis of their aesthetic? Huh. Okay. I mean, I'm assuming, unless they go deeper into the description.
Phenomenal way to get people motivated. We're in a
yeah. If you put a bounty on people on the basis of their race, it's a great way to motivate people. You want to think about that notion for a second?
World of money, and that's what motivates people. Sticking to Jim Collins's book, what's the difference between a good DEI policy and a great one?
Oh, ooh. Okay, now I'm gonna have to look up the Cavs and their profit motive DEI recruiting program.
Oh, I love that question.
I'm glad you love that question. Will you answer that question? And if you do, will that answer be coherent?
I think I think a couple of things. I think that if you're doing DEI in the sense of it's just about representation,
which it is, and you've already said that yourself,
you might be doing good.
All right. Well, then what is the extra ingredient that makes it great?
But take it to great is when you show the impact of that work.
Impact. Good gravy. Okay. Impact is the new fun word. We talked about this previously in streams where we looked at Google and Google Cloud talking about their DEI initiatives and so on. And the word impact was really the new catchphrase. You've seen a lot of titles in companies change from DEI officer to chief impact officer for global opportunities and things like that. We're going to be seeing impact being sold more and more to try to, I think, replace diversity as the big buzzword. That seems to be the trend, trying to find a word that doesn't say diversity, is different enough from diversity, but still evokes something, meaningful and progressive without actually saying the word. Because that word and the initiatives behind it are what the affirmative action decision from last year really put to the test.
Right. The business impact.
The business impact. Okay, so the business impact. So are you talking about like the actual bottom line? Because I was always told that the business case for diversity shouldn't deal with profit because it's the right thing to do. So is the NBA moving away from a purely moral position to one of profit motive?
Business bottom line in the value of bringing inclusive behaviors, inclusive leadership into your organization.
What?
Because you get in the representation, but to get to the innovation, to get to that creativity, to impact that bottom line, you have to allow people to really flourish.
If your first filter as to who is valuable is their skin color, you are excluding large swaths of potential talent, because you're not talking about talent as a primary motivating factor. It is at best a secondary factor. And especially if you're talking about both race and gender, it's possibly a tertiary factor in your considerations for who you're going to hire or promote. No, you don't, given everything you've already told us, you don't get to make that move. You've precluded yourself from being able to make that move.
And that is establishing cultures in which that can happen. Ideas can be shared. People's voices can be heard. Their ideas, kind of come to fruition.
Yeah.
Weekly team meetings, big deal. What does that have to do with someone's skin color or gender?
And so I see that, and even in my previous, role, is good, but when you get to great, it feels good, and you see the impact on your bottom line as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that is progress of a kind, I suppose, if they're actually having to consider the bottom line. But then here's the danger for our speaker. If you actually try to prove that DEI leads to an increased bottom line, you're going to find yourself without any road to follow, because it doesn't. I have yet to see a company draw a direct line between our DEI initiative inherently increased profits. That is in part why DEI departments and chief diversity officers are being let go or are resigning or having their entire departments rewritten over the last 2 or 3 years. Because A, they haven't actually shown any kind of business benefit. And as budgets started tightening over the last couple of years, most of the big tech companies had to start slicing away their DEI departments because they're wasting so much money on them. But also, as well, with the Supreme Court decision, there's a lot more legal risk as people start taking a much closer look at DEI and what it actually does and what it actually affects. And that'll become worse over time, I think, I hope. Thank you, C. Thomas. If DEI was something sound and good, there wouldn't be a need to constantly trying to disguise, misdirect, distract, sneak, or subvert it in. Exactly. You could take the rhetoric from our speaker today in 2024 and go all the way back to, there was a video I did with, it was the chief diversity officer of eBay, and he gave an interview. And you can see that they're starting to revert back to the very couched language talking about their DEI initiatives. It's this bell curve, right? I've come to refer to it mostly as the Puxatawny bell curve, because at the very beginning, when I was looking at this stuff, chief diversity officers and DEI advocates and consultants were very, very cagey on what words they would use or how they would define what they do or their terms. But then as time went on, Puxatawny Phil, he peeks out from under his mole hole, looks around for his shadow, doesn't see his shadow. There's no reaction legally, socially, from the media on what they're suggesting in using discriminatory practices in hiring and promotion and so on. And so they become bolder and bolder with how they describe what they do and getting more and more proud of what the work that they're doing. And now, after last summer, after last June, the bell curve is starting to go back down again. You start hearing all the DEI people talking in very sort of flowery terms and being more abstract and not being as certain, but still sometimes the truth bleeds through and someone gives us a percentile goal or a percentile measurement, and it mentions explicitly attributes of individuals that are illegal to employ by under Title VII. So it's still there. The truth is still there. They can't avoid it. You get them talking long enough, they'll eventually have to say something, because even they understand just how much gobbledygook they're putting out. But anyway, we've only got another couple of seconds in this.
And that's where we are right now.
Absolutely. And that allows people to go for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Leslie Slayton Brown, thank you so much for the time. And I look forward to doing this again.
Thank you.
All right.
All righty. Well, there you go. And ends with a handshake. How nice. But yes, surprisingly enough, this is not the first time I have listened to our primary speaker before. Unbeknownst to me, before I started looking at this, she was previously the chief DEI officer. I think that was her title. I could be slightly off, at HP. And I did a video featuring her a few years ago now, actually, where she was very excited about her role. And she got very explicit about how she evaluates who will and will not be allowed in certain roles. And so you could almost call our speaker sort of a microcosm of the changes in speaking about DEI over the last few years. That bell curve I was just talking about. Keeverdam provided the link earlier. But look it up. You can go to my channel, hit the magnifying glass, just type in HP, and you'll see a photo in the thumbnail of our speaker with a big HP logo thing next to it. Listen to her in that video and just sort of in your mind, compare her rhetoric, compare the words that she's using and how explicit she's being about certain things between that video from several years ago now and how she's talking about it here. The energy is still there. Right. I didn't recognize her voice and the mannerisms of her speech just, accidentally. It's all still there, but it's changed just enough that it feels like there's more caution. We're turning to a time of caution. I can only imagine why. But anyway, in the last couple of minutes here, I'll take anything you guys want to say on board. Bold sign. This is why I watch college basketball. The NBA just has a bunch of $1 million babies that barely play for their paychecks. Yeah, I cannot speak as to the comings and goings of the NBA as an organization or even basketball as a sport. I'm a nerd. Don't know much. It's all very cursory, but I could believe it. From what little bleeds through into my sphere when it comes to the NBA, seems like a bunch of spoiled children a lot of the time, but I don't know much about it, so who knows. Advocaz Diabli, basketball bores me. Ball goes in hoop, ball goes in hoop, ball doesn't go in hoop, ball goes in hoop, yawn. With most sports events or most sports, I'll watch like the championship games. Right. If it comes down to brass tacks, I'll watch the championship games, the Super Bowl, the NBA championship, the last game of the World Series, or the presumed last game of the World Series, when things are actually on the line and all the real dramas there. That might interest me. But following an entire team for a season or this, that, or the other, that's never really interested me. Not too much. But I do recognize that the NBA and its affiliate teams are gigantic organizations with a lot of high profile. And if the NBA as a umbrella corporation organization is really pushing DEI and doubling down on it, at least in public, that's interesting to me. Anything else before I start wrapping up? Don't see anything in particular. And I'm sure you guys are having conversations amongst yourselves, as you often do. But there you go. So yes, that is the NBA and DEI, at least what they're willing to say publicly, and what little telling information came out over the course of this interview. But if you have anything else to add to it, by all means, leave a comment after the stream. But let me do some housekeeping stuff before I wrap up here. First and foremost, if you'd like to join the Scribelite Discord, link is in the description. Link is in the chat now. Just have to click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream and have earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is impact. Just say hello, impact, and I'll know that you watched the show. Beyond that, I suppose, I plan on doing a Sunday stream tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I'll talk about a thing. It won't be this thing. It might be a similar thing, but it'll be a thing that I'll decide between now and tomorrow morning. So look out for the Sunday stream tomorrow, Sunday morning, on this channel, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And I don't know that I've actually been given the official invite yet. Maybe we're not doing it this week, but presumably there's going to be on Midnight's Edge After Dark, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, the shit list, where we take a look at top fives of our own about different things in movies, television, and other pop culture entertainment. Beyond that, everyone, did I cover everything? I think I covered everything. I hope I did. I think I did. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Everyone, thank you for joining me for this surprise Saturday stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. They follow all the rules. They don't dribble. They don't travel, unless they've got somewhere to go. That you guys have very, very little to do. Old Guy Gamer. He asked a question real quick. You doing Reacher rounds, Scribe? Monkey still is not in shape to do so. That's why I'm doing this stream today rather than the Reacher season 1 review that we had planned on doing. Can't say when that'll happen. Just have to keep an eye on Twitter, scribe_light. And as soon as I know, I will let you know. But beyond that, everybody who donated either to myself or to the GoFundMe's pinned to the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. It is very, very much appreciated. Either way, everyone, hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Hope you have a good Sunday ahead of you and week as well. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.